Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Business Leaders of America podcast. In today's episode, we're joined by Sergei Kaminskiy, a serial entrepreneur whose journey embodies vision, determination, and innovation. From humble beginnings in Serbia, Russia, to building an award-winning remodeling company in San Diego, Sergei has proven that hard work and a strong vision can turn dreams into reality. As the founder and CEO of Kaminskiy Design and Remodeling, Kaminskiy Commercial Construction, and Kaminskiy Care and Repair, Sergei has left a mark on the home improvement industry. But his entrepreneurial spirit doesn't stop there. He's made significant strides in manufacturing, healthcare, and commercial real estate, diversifying his portfolio and expanding his influence. What started as a door-to-door handyman service with his wife Elena has grown into a legacy of innovation and excellence. Sergei's commitment to creating value in every venture, coupled with his ability to adapt to different industries, showcases the mindset of a true leader. Today, Sergey shares his insights on scaling business, balancing family and professional life, and building a legacy that goes beyond profit. Welcome to the show, Sergey.
Hey, Dylan. Thanks for having me, man. Great to be on.
Absolutely. Excited to get this thing going. So if you could give us a brief extended intro on yourself and how you got to where you are today.
Well, it all started when I was just a little kid, man. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I saw my dad running a business on a fairly small scale and just going to his office, seeing kind of what he does. I saw the quality of life that he had. We didn't have much growing up. I grew up in a 2-bedroom apartment near Oakland. If you know Oakland, it's a pretty rough area.
Right.
And went to some of the rougher, elementary schools and high schools. Nevertheless, I saw the freedom that my dad had by having his own business and just seeing him interact with people and seeing him run the business. I always had the desire to do something for myself. And when I got married, when we were, I was very young. I was just 19 years old, man. And we didn't have money to pay bills, and we ran out of money, and we had like $300 in our bank account, and I was working as a framer on a job site and making $17 an hour. So that's all I was doing. I remember going to my employer and asking them for a raise, and they said, well, look, for what you already do, you're pretty much at the top of where you should be. And he was right,
Yes.
So but that didn't pay the bills. And so for me, I remember just saying, hey, let's go and pass out some flyers, right? I know I can do some handyman. I know I can go and bid these jobs. I know I can sell the jobs, and I'll get somebody to go do the work. And I wasn't very skilled at construction. I knew enough, like a little bit, right? But I wasn't extremely skilled at it. And I had a few customers call us from the fly. We would wake up like 3-4 in the morning, and we would literally just hit the streets passing out flyers, Elena and I. And then when somebody would call us, I would go and do the estimate. And then after I got the estimate, I would go and hire someone to go and do the work. Fast forward about 3 to 4 months, I'm like, man, I can do this on a bigger scale. I can scale this. I would like to have more and more technicians working on these homes, and I know I can do it. And so we started moving into that direction. Fast forward 3 years, 2 to 3 years, I started getting into kitchen and bath remodeling. Because of the handyman, I was able to build up so many customers within San Diego area quickly, and I started getting requests for kitchen and bath remodels. So what I did is I hired Sheldon, one of my estimators at the time, great guy, and I said, Sheldon, I need you to go look at some of these kitchen remodels. I didn't know how to price it. For me, it was something that I was not familiar with at all. I was intimidated by it because they were bigger jobs. But I seen him do it and how quickly he was able to go through and price these jobs. I was just like, man, this is easy. I can do this. Yeah. And so we started getting into kitchen, bath remodel, full home remodeling, like complete renovations. Started winning awards. I started doing television marketing. So I started buying, TV commercials and things like that. I was introduced to that, which I was super blessed to be introduced to television, because it was something that I was intimidated to do. I was just a small guy. I didn't have a huge office. I didn't have a huge showroom. And for me, getting on TV was very nerve-wracking. It was something I was just like, man, people are gonna know, right? It's I'm gonna be out there. I'm gonna be doing these TV commercials. And we started doing the television advertising and grew the company, then ended up winning San Diego's Best by the San Diego Union Tribune Readers Poll, and that's just people voting us in. And then we've won that since for the past 15 years, and we are one of the most respected remodeling companies in San Diego. There's only a handful of us, like I would say 3 main competitors that we're always going, neck to neck with, and that's that, and most of them have been in business either like 30, 40 years or like 25 years at the minimum. You know,
Right.
we've been in business 20 years. So they're all older companies, but we're there, man. And we're known for quality, integrity, and doing the right thing by the customer every time, right?
Hmm.
That's what we're known for. That's in the design remodeling. And about 2014, right, as design remodeling was growing, it was doing well. I started investing into real estate, right? I started dabbling into real estate. I bought some apartment complexes. I bought vacation properties. We own some property on a river, multiple houses, with RVs and apartments and things like that. And I started renting those out. Love the real estate game. Absolutely love the real estate game. I think it's something that's really phenomenal. It's tangible. I like things that are tangible.
Hmm.
I played around a little bit with the stock market. Never did too much in the stock market. I mean,
Yeah.
during COVID, I actually went in pretty heavy, and I did very well for myself in the
Yeah.
stock market. But it's not something that I exercise all the time. I understand it. I've tried it. I played around with it. I did well in it.
Yeah.
But I prefer real estate, and I like businesses, right? So
Hmm.
I was fortunate to also invest into a multi-location dental firm, and that was something that was successfully scaled from 3 locations to 6 locations, and we've since exited from that. So that did well. In
Yeah.
addition to that, multivitamin manufacturing. One of my clients said, "Hey, Sergey, I need to build out this entire facility for gummy manufacturing here in San Diego." He said, "If you could help me out with this, I have a certain budget for it. If you could do it for this budget," he goes, "I'll give you shares in the company."
Mm.
Right. And I looked at the numbers, I crunched the numbers, and I said, let's do it. Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what we did. So it was for us, it was taking on the project, building out the entire gummy production line for them. And for that, I was able to get stakes in the company, which is great. And so now I'm involved in that business as well. So I have my hands in a few different things, pretty
Yeah.
well diversified. And now what we started doing 2 years ago, we started the care and repair. The care and
Hmm.
repair, it's a phenomenal business. So go back to 2005 when I started my business. It was with care. It was with handyman.
Hmm.
That's what we started with, is with handyman. And I always looked at that business, even getting large remodels, where with design remodeling, our average project is $450,000. That's our average. It goes anywhere from 50,000 to $3 million remodels. So they're really large projects.
Yeah.
But I always remembered how lucrative care and repair was and how good of a business it was, because you're turning these small jobs, and cash flow is king, right? So you
Hmm.
always have, cash coming in because you're doing these small projects. So I always kept it going. But 2022 is when I said, man, we have something special here. We have something really, really special, because it's a business that almost anyone can get into. They don't have to be an expert in construction. They don't have to be an expert in business management. Because I remember myself when I was just 19 years old starting out, and I was like, I was not an expert at these things, but I
Right.
was able to successfully run this business. And all of these things that I've learned in the past 20 years in terms of marketing, how to properly present it to the customer, how to do all the systems and the processes to be successful in it, I already have all that. I learned it. So then one of my friends reached out to me and said, "Hey, Sergey," he goes, "I'd like to do this business." And he's a car dealer, right? So he
Yeah.
owns a car dealership, successful car dealership in Northern California. And I said, "Listen," I said, "let's do it. Let's open up a location there." And he goes, "I'd be honored to." So we opened up a location in Northern California. And I basically was just mentoring him, teaching him all the processes, the systems, and we took him under our wing. And first year he did just under $500,000. Second year he's 1.2 million. That's with us having like zero presence there, right?
Yeah.
Because we know the formula. I know exactly what we need to do to make this thing successful.
Hmm.
Since then, we've opened up a location in Portland. We have a location in Orange County, Beverly Hills, and now we're franchising nationally. Right. So
Awesome.
now we're giving anyone an opportunity that wants to join the team, the Kaminskiy brand, and say, hey, I want to have a Kaminskiy Care and Repair location in my city.
Hmm.
We can go on with them and help them and mentor them and teach them how to do it the right way.
Mm. Oh, that is amazing. Yeah, I cannot wait to get more into that. I know we'll talk about that later in the conversation, but
Yeah.
amazing that you've done all of that. And it's awesome that your dad instilled that entrepreneurial mindset in you at a young age with him running his own business, but every entrepreneur starts with a
Absolutely.
vision of success, right? But did you ever truly imagine achieving the level of success and the life you're living today? Like, how close is your reality to the vision you had when you first started?
It's interesting you say that, because my business partner and I were talking about this. Like, man, we were just having lunch one day, and we were saying, imagine going back like 20 years, and
Yeah.
then painting this picture of where we're at today to that 19-year-old self and
Right.
saying, hey, this is where you're at 39. And I think I would be really proud of myself, and I
Yeah.
think that I would be like, man, if I can get there, I'll be very happy. uh, but being where I am today, it's like we always want to climb new mountains, Dylan.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
just one of those things. It's like you're always chasing that next thing, and it's
Yes.
it's 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 that conquering, right? Conquering, always trying to conquer new ground, new territory. And I think it's a good thing because I truly believe you have to stay motivated. You
Yeah.
have to stay motivated. You have to stay driven because if we start relaxing and we're like, okay, I've made it. Well, the only way from there is down. Like,
Hmm.
what else are you doing? Right?
Right.
So, like, I mean, so that's why for me, even though I've achieved what I've achieved, I'm still looking at, I'm like, man, I just started playing the game.
Right.
Like, everything up to this point was stretching, warming up, getting ready, and we're just started playing the game now. So
Yeah.
I'm super excited for what the future holds. But yes, man, of course, it's like always in the beginning, like it's something about it where I was like, I'm always going to be successful.
Hmm.
You know that you're going to be successful. It's a mindset of abundance. I was never, even the times where I maybe didn't have a lot of money, I still had the mindset of abundance. I
Right.
truly believe in having the right mindset and having the mindset of abundance and just always knowing you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You're going to make it.
Hmm.
I've never been in a point where like I can't buy something. Like I always had, even when maybe my bank account didn't reflect it, I always had, right? So
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
it's the mindset of abundance, right? So
Right.
yeah.
No, that is amazing. Your wife is also very involved in the beginning, ever since the beginning, correct?
She was. So Elena and she was very, very helpful to me in starting out. So she was obviously like kind of like my right hand person for
Yeah.
anything that needed to be, done. She was in the background. But she's now, since I mean she's not as involved in the companies that I'm involved in, and she's doing her own thing. So she has a beauty pillow that she invented, flawless face pillow, man, and that thing is blowing up, dude. Like honestly, I didn't know you could sell that many pillows.
Right.
But it's, I walk into their production facility and they manufacture here in San Diego. So it's not like manufactured in China or anything. It's here in
Right.
San Diego. And I walk in there and you have sewers and you have people stuffing the pillows and, they're packaging them. And I look at these pallets, man, and they're shipping all over the world, man. Like they're
Yeah.
going to Australia and different parts of the country and just all over the world, man. And
Right.
it's phenomenal for me to see that, and she's doing really well. She has a lot of celebrities actually using the pillow now. Some really, really big names that are actually sleeping on her pillow. So it's very cool for me to see that because it was something that she invented. I mean, she
Yeah.
really saw a need in the market, and she started looking at it. She started doing prototypes, designing it. Her and I flew out to the East Coast and investigated some manufacturing options there, and I assisted her where I could, but this is her thing, man. This
Yeah.
is her thing. She's doing it. She's running. She has an entrepreneurial spirit as well,
Right.
and I think that's why her and I get along so well. We're very opposites, very much
Mhm.
opposites in so many ways, but
Right.
there are things fundamentally that we have in common.
Yeah.
So it works out.
Right. I mean, what can't you guys do? That's incredible. I didn't know that part about it. I did my research and somehow I missed that part, but that is incredible that she did that, and she's doing that. So, but with so many
Oh yeah.
responsibility, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, no, no, no. Yeah, yeah. She's doing it very well, man. She's kicking butt and taking names, dude. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I'll send you the link to her thing, but it's flawless face pillow. It's a beauty pillow. It's phenomenal, man. Like Simone Biles was on during the Olympics. She literally posted an Instagram thing with the pillow on, in France with her, and she was just so happy to have it there with her. So it's pretty cool, man. Like some big
Right.
names, dude. Like I don't know if I'm allowed to throw out names,
Right.
but
Right. No, of course.
they're sleeping on the pillow.
Yeah, for sure. The listeners can do their own research, after this. But yeah, when you
Exactly.
send that link, I'll make sure that's in the show notes as well, because that is awesome, man. I'm excited to look into it. But with so many responsibilities, running your multiple businesses, being an investor, maintaining a family life, how do you find balance between your professional and personal commitments?
Balance, man. Man, family is so important, right?
Yeah.
This is the reason why we got into business and entrepreneurship is because I wanted to be able to have the freedom to take a trip whenever I wanted to. And You know, I think it's being able to delegate tasks well, right?
Right.
My wife says you're a master delegator. I, I, there are some people that are scared to delegate tasks. They have a problem with trusting people and entrusting someone to do, work for them, and they feel like everything has to happen by them doing it, right? It's
Hmm.
like no different than that tile setter who's been laying tile for 50 years, and
Yeah.
he's like, nobody could do this job the way that I do it. And and then you have some huge companies that have, 1,000 employees laying tile, right? And
Yeah.
they're able to make it happen and make do. So for me, I've always been good at finding people, figuring out their strengths, and delegating to them and
Got it.
trusting them to do the tasks. And yes, man, of course it's busy. We're busy. We're entrepreneurs, man. We're busy, but at the same time, we try to find time. We try to
Hmm.
find time for family. We try to find time for traveling, and I involve my kids into the business. Like literally, my daughter now is 15. My son, actually, my daughter's 17. My son is 15,
Mm.
and I take them with me to the office all the time. I take them with me to meetings all the time, and I just have them shadow me, right?
Wow.
Because I truly believe that that's one of the best gifts that I can give them
Hmm.
is if they're around me, if they're in this environment, if they see me, conducting a company meeting,
Hmm.
or they see me, maybe talking with my estimation management team, doing training, they see the pros and the cons, they see the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly of the
Right.
business side, right? And because they're on the inside. So they're on
Right.
the inside and they see how I'm carrying myself, what I'm saying, how I'm saying it, right? I truly believe that there is no better gift that I can give them,
Hmm.
right? Because I'm a big entrepreneur, man. Like, I mean, I love entrepreneurship. I tell my kids, I said, I don't care what you do, as long
Yeah.
as you do it for yourself.
Right.
I want them to be entrepreneurs as well. And, it's finding time. I mean, we find time. It's just somehow we find time, man. I don't know. It's a tough one to answer, but we find time for it. We try to find time for family. It's very
Right.
important.
No, you're absolutely right. And I love that too, that you're bringing them into the office because it's one thing to tell your kids, what you want them to learn or try and explain that stuff. But at a young age, even at 17 and 15, it's still tough for them to kind of grasp, and fully understand. So for them to be in there and actually
100%.
actually get to see it, that's a huge benefit to them. And they're not, most people would pay money for that, and so they're getting those lessons, those real life lessons to take with them, and eventually I'm sure they're going to build some businesses themselves, with what you guys have going on. It's incredible. So
I
with
hope so. Either they do their own businesses or they come alongside us and they join us in our efforts.
yes.
Whatever they decide to do, it's my son is into jiu-jitsu now. I don't think he's thinking about running a business right now.
Right.
His head is all in training, and I listen. I mean, I'm not gonna make him live my life, right? They
Right.
all need to decide their own path and live their own life. But yeah, we try to provide the mentorship where we can.
Hmm. No, absolutely. A lot of people who don't know you, anyone who doesn't, all the listeners who don't know Sergey, you have a huge following on social media. I think last I checked, it was like 3.8 million followers on Instagram, but I could have swore when I was first doing your research, it was like 2 point something. So the increase was huge in the last month or something, but maybe I just misread it. But anyways, that's
No,
aside.
no, it was around there. I mean,
Yeah.
it grew maybe by I don't know 75,000 since I like in the last few months,
Yes.
but it's been around there for a while.
Yeah. How has social media assisted you in in your growth? Has it been a big part of your growth? You doing videos and doing everything that you've been doing on social media? Has that been a huge part of your growth in all of your businesses?
I wouldn't say it's contributed to any growth. So far, right? For me, this is just something that I truly enjoy. Some people look at
Got
my
it.
social media and they're like, "Man, you put so much work into it," and
Yeah.
they're like, "How do you keep up with all this stuff?" And I mean, I truly have a great team managing my social media, and I've invested a lot of money into my social media account, but it's something that I do on my downtime, man. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the
Yeah.
crazy thing, right? Like this is the social media is what I do to relax. Like
Right.
it's for me it's not work, man. It's something that I enjoy. I've always enjoyed video and content, and I've always enjoyed that part of it since I was a kid.
Hmm.
I have a cool story. Like I was at my sister's wedding. I was 14 years old, and I was big into photography back then, and I remember I was wearing this really bright sports jacket, man, like that totally didn't fit with the attire that she had on the wedding.
Yeah.
But and I was running around with this camera, on stage, off stage, and I was like snapping photos. I got this new camera, and I was really excited to use it on her wedding day. And I just remember her giving me this like death stare, like, "What are you doing on stage? Get off the stage!" Right? Because there was all these people there, and so here is what happened. Right, the photographer that was hired to do her wedding lost all the footage. It was all deleted, right? And so the only pictures that she had that were quality were my photos, man. And to this
Oh,
day, she still tells my nephews, this story. And she's like, yeah, yeah, Uncle Sergey was running around, was so mad at him. But to this day, these are the only photos that I have. So it was a passion of mine since
yeah.
childhood, man, to do this. And so I enjoy it, man. I really enjoy that part of it. I like to be involved with the editing and all that stuff. I mean, I have two full-time editors that are sitting there editing my content, and I have
Mhm.
guys that are managing the account and everything. But I thoroughly enjoy it, man. I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, moving forward, I do think that that's where the world is going, right?
Right.
Because essentially, what is social media? I mean, to me, people use social media for different reasons, right? For different things. For me, the way that I've been using it is kind of just like my portfolio. And you
Mhm.
can go on and you could say, "Who's Sergey?" You Google it, oh, Instagram pops up, you click on it, and within about 10, 15 minutes, you see my family, you see my businesses, you see a couple interviews, you see a couple videos, and you're like, "Oh, okay, I know what this guy's about." Right?
Yes.
So it's more than anything, it's a portfolio for me. And does it help open some doors because people get to see who you are? Sure, of course.
Right.
That's part of it, but that's where the world is going. I
Hmm.
think if you don't have that, you're missing out.
Right.
I definitely encourage people to get into that for sure.
Yeah. I think first glimpse, when you look at it, you're like, oh, this is a social media influencer, right? I mean, with the cars and the,
Right.
the amazing things that you have. I mean, but then really get into it. You see your family, you see your son, doing his jujitsu. You see all those amazing
Yeah.
things, and you can tell that you're doing it because you enjoy it. You thoroughly enjoy it, But you're right. I think that it probably contributes to people knowing who you are on the global standpoint compared to being just in the
Right.
California and as you're expanding. But I did want to get
Dude,
into
it's
this.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did want to get into this. Congratulations first on being recognized as a top franchise brand by Franchise Journal magazine. The
Thank you.
franchise program just launched in November, right? I think that was what your last video just mentioned was in November.
That's right. The day of the election is when I got the email. Our FDD documents got approved, so I was like, yes,
Yeah.
we were super happy. But yes, yeah, that just launched. We had our first franchise convention show that we went to and attended. We had a great turnout. We're getting interest nationally already from many different states, and people are interested. And we've developed a robust and amazing business model, Dylan. Like we
Yeah.
cut so much of the unnecessary overhead. From the business, it's just such a cool model. Like, I
Right.
mean, I can get into it. It's a long conversation, but it's very unique. The handyman industry is not a new industry. The
Hmm.
handyman industry has been around for many, 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 many years, obviously.
Right.
But what we did is we took that business, we completely redesigned it, and we made it scalable, and we made it to where someone with minimal experience can come in and join the team and be successful because we provide the marketing, we provide the support, the administrative support, we provide even estimation support, right? So we have corporate estimators that could help you sell the jobs. So all you're really doing is you're managing your team on a local level, and we have all of the systems and processes in place to help you do that. So someone can come in and from 0 to 60 get there really, really quickly with
Hmm.
our support and our training.
That is amazing. How can listeners who might be interested in joining this franchise, how can they find out more information?
If they go to careandrepair.com, and one of the tabs there is going to say franchising. So all they
Okay.
need to do is just click on franchising, and then that'll take them to that page. There's a video there, there's a contact form they can fill out. In addition to that, if they would like, they can visit my Instagram and then reach out to me through my Instagram. Just DM me, Sergey.Kaminskiy, and I will get back to them. I'll have my team get back to them right away and make sure that we schedule a call with one of our franchise development consultants.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I'll make sure that's in the show notes as well for anybody who might have missed that, but that is incredible. Incredible opportunity. So you've successfully expanded into other sectors as well, right? So you talked about it, manufacturing, healthcare, real estate. How do you
Yes.
identify opportunities in such diverse industries? I know some, like you mentioned, some of them were kind of brought to you, on and kind of landed in your lap, but how do you have plans to explore new ones and further grow your existing businesses like that? Do you have any like on the horizon?
Absolutely. So with the businesses that I've went into up to this point, they all kind of just presented themselves. And
Yeah.
as you know, when opportunities present themselves, you have two options. You can either shy away from it and you could
Hmm.
say, well, I don't know this industry. I don't know this sector. I'm not going to get into it because I know what I know and that's all I'm going to do. And to me, I took the approach of saying, wow, this opportunity is presenting itself. Let me explore it. Let me do more research. And by getting into it, what will I learn?
Hmm.
You know, people spend so much money sometimes going into college and spending money on a degree where getting into a certain business, you will just know so much about that sector. You'll know so much about that business. It's like going to college.
Yeah.
You know, you're learning so much. You learn from it, and you look at it as a learning opportunity. So I remember looking at, for instance, the dental business that I went into, and I thought, man, well, I got to invest this much money into it, and if I lose it, well, I'm going to get a lot of knowledge out of this. I'm
Right.
going to learn so much from it, right? And we ended up doing really well on it, right? It was because a lot of times fear would dominate, and you would say, I don't know enough, I'm just not going to do it because we tend to assume the worst. And
Right.
for me, the way that I look at it when an opportunity presents itself, I tend to look at a cup half full most of the time. And
Right.
and and when I look at it, I say, you know what? And now it doesn't mean you don't do your research. It
Right.
doesn't mean that you don't do due diligence. Obviously we had attorneys do due diligence. We looked at the company and I did my own due diligence. I looked at it. I flew out there. I looked at the businesses. I did everything that was, up to me to do. And
Hmm.
then after that, you're still always a step of faith. You're like, we got to do it because there's always the unknown. And
Right.
there will always be people that are telling you, don't do it. This is ridiculous. Why would you get into that? Right? I can't, like, pretty much every business that I've ever gone into, I've had people tell me, well, I don't know. Why would you get into that? You don't know. Why would you do it? And, kind of try to talk me out of it.
Yeah.
And I still went ahead and did it.
Hmm.
And to me, that's how I ended up with the businesses that I've done up to this point. In terms of expanding into new markets and doing different things, absolutely. Like one of the things that we're planning on doing right now is doing this. We're doing the care and repair, which is the handyman, which will allow us to get national reach quickly because that'll plant locations, Kaminskiy care and repair locations throughout the United States. We want to have 300 to 400 locations throughout the United States. And then after that, what we're going to do is we're going to start offering Kaminskiy kitchen and bath services. Like if you take
Nice.
our East Bay location, they were able to get over 2,000 paying customers in just a short 2 years.
Wow.
And that's with having zero Kaminskiy presence there before. So now imagine what's going to happen on their third year. So where they probably are going to have over 3,000 paying customers or more, we're going to come and we're going to say, hey, here's an email. If you guys are already a Kaminskiy customer and if you're happy with the handyman service that we provided, well, now we're offering Kaminskiy kitchen and bath. And if you know anyone that would like to do a kitchen and bath remodel, reach out to us and we'll take great care of you. And
Mm.
we'll actually offer you guys some sort of a discount or a promotion. So think about the remarketing opportunities of just having that client list, right? So
Yeah.
that is just the next step. Then we're planning to have HVAC, maybe remediation, restoration. So there's going to be different branches of the
Yeah.
Kaminskiy brand. So anything to do with property and home improvement, we want you to think of Kaminskiy. Like
Right.
you think of you people say jacuzzi.
Yeah.
Well, jacuzzi is a brand, right?
Yep.
And so we want Kaminskiy to be associated the same way,
Hmm.
you
Right.
know,
You know,
but with
abs
property home improvement.
Yeah, no, that I cannot wait to see it take off. You touched on a very, good point about going into business. It's also you always have to look at it as a learning situation, right? To see what you can take and learn from it. It can't always just be about the money because if you're always going in there thinking, okay, I'm not going to make enough money or I need to make as much money as I can off of this thing, good chance for one, you're not going to enjoy it. There's a chance that it could fail. And so I love that you went into it with a positive mindset with all the people outside factors telling you, you probably shouldn't do that. What do you know? You're doing bath and, you're doing remodeling and kitchen remodeling, but instead you're going to go and do dental. You're going to do vitamin manufacturing. It's like business is business, right? And if you understand it and you do your due diligence, that's what really matters. And if you go into it thinking, worst case scenario, I'm coming away with some great lessons, some life lessons, business lessons, that's an amazing mindset, man.
Yeah, and there's so many similarities in just running a business successfully. Like
Right.
across different industries, you can apply a lot of the same principles
Hmm.
and be successful across different sectors,
Right.
right? As long as you're applying the same formula. So the same formula you apply to. I'm a big believer in like starting out. I think you have to master whatever it is that you're doing. Starting out, I don't recommend diversification. I think you
Hmm.
have to hyper focus on whatever it is you're doing. So for instance, for me, I hyper focused on home improvement. For like 15 years, I was just doing home improvement. That's all I knew. That's all I was thinking about until I became an expert at home improvement. I
Right.
knew it very well. That's when you start getting successful. That's when cash flow starts coming in. That's when you start making money. After that, you take a step back and you say, hey, what else do I want to get into? Well,
Hmm.
maybe I start putting money into real estate. Then maybe another business opportunity presents itself, and then you go after that and you start diversifying. But it's only after you've hit your home run, after you've done something very well for an extended period of time. Some people, they start off by diversifying, and I look at that and I say, that's a tough one. I haven't seen too many people be really successful
Right.
starting out with diversification. Like you really have to master your craft first. I'm a big believer in that for sure.
Right. No, that's an incredible lesson. Thank you for sharing that with us. I do appreciate it. So, Sergey,
Absolutely.
this has been amazing, man. How can listeners connect with you and learn more about, everything that you're doing?
Yeah, the best way absolutely connect, just go to my Instagram, Sergey.Kaminskiy, and reach out, send me a DM. Always communicating with people back and forth. I was just messaging with someone from uh United Kingdom, and that was interesting. So you mentioned like it's a global reach, man. I mean, but,
Yes.
like it's sometimes we forget how global it really is, you know.
Right.
So you got people reaching out from different places in the world, and she was inquiring about a franchise opportunity. And I said, well, for now we're only in the U.S., but if you decide to move here, let us know.
Right.
But yeah, absolutely, man. You just Sergey.Kaminskiy, and if you could put that somewhere for people to see, that would be phenomenal. But it's been a pleasure, Dylan, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. I truly, thoroughly enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. I did as well. And, you're absolutely right. I was actually going to ask you that. I know you're expanding nationally, but at some point, do you see yourself expanding globally?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Next is going to be Canada because that's just the natural, it's easy. And then after that, for sure, we definitely want to be a global brand. We don't just want to go for the United States.
Right. Oh, well, I cannot wait to see it, Sergey. It's already amazing to see the success that you've had. It's truly an inspiration. You, your wife, family. It's amazing to see, man. So again, I look forward to seeing. It. I look forward to staying in contact with you, and maybe we'll do this again soon, a couple of years down the road.
Absolutely, man. If you're ever in town, man, stop by. Stop by and we'll go get some lunch, man.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation, Dylan. Thank you so much for having me on.
Yes, absolutely. I did as well. All right. Thanks. Talk to you soon, Sergey.
Thank you.